A former intern is sharing stories about how Blake Lively made her cry.
As I walked out, I just started crying because I was afraid.
She and her husband are bullies.
Did you know that the dazzling Hollywood star, Blake Lively, may not be as flawless as her public persona suggests? Imagine a world where the it girl we all admire turns out to be a master manipulator behind closed doors.
This is a mean girl. This isn't a good person.
A woman who disrespected her crew, manipulated her co-stars, and orchestrated on-set chaos that ultimately led to her public humiliation.
Getting a lot of hate.
Today, we're peeling back the glittery veneer to reveal the shocking truth behind Blake Lively's fall from grace.
At first, I was so upset that they hired Penn for Gossip Girl, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him. Oh, how sweet of you.
Buckle up as we dive into a drama of deceit, betrayal, and a Hollywood empire in free fall. Trust me, you won't believe what happens next.
Very difficult for anyone to ever work with Blake Lively ever again.
For years, Blake Lively built her career on the idea of perfection. An effortlessly charming star with the perfect life, career, and reputation.
Go fucking
Mean Girl, yeah.
Also,
Wasn't she in Mean Girl?
Yeah, she
no,
was.
she was.
Wait.
No, she wasn't. That's
Gossip Girl.
Gossip. She was in Gossip.
Oh, Gossip Girl, yeah.
On screen, she radiated warmth and style, and off-screen, she was presented as the quintessential Hollywood sweetheart.
Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them.
But beneath the surface of magazine covers and red carpet smiles, whispers began circulating among crew members and insiders.
Poisoning the whole cast against co-star.
According to those who worked with her, the real Blake was a far cry from the picture-perfect image.
Other footage is coming out of Blake Lively admitting, hey, when I get involved with projects, they hire me as the actress, and sometimes I don't really tell them, but I actually want to come in and I want to rewrite it, and I want to be a producer, and I want to do all of these things.
Crew members recalled a woman who dismissed their contributions with a wave of her hand, treating even the most experienced professionals as if they were mere extras in her carefully orchestrated film set.
Just a conversation starter, you know, she was sitting there, I think she was probably 8 months pregnant. She had it wasn't a small bump even, it was quite big.
You have a baby on the way, congratulations.
What makes you say that?
The shark told me.
As more stories emerged, the facade began to crumble. It became apparent that what the world admired was merely a well-rehearsed act, a golden girl constructed by Hollywood PR machines.
I probably have diapers in the car. Honestly, I have so many kids that I could just give you some of those.
Thank you.
The diapers, not the kids.
This isn't just a tale of glamour gone wrong. It's a story of power, manipulation, and the lengths a star will go to protect her image.
Hi, Stephanie. You should leave him.
Even if it means sacrificing the dignity of those around her. And as we uncover the layers of deception, the stakes only get higher.
He's accused of having turned the whole cast of It Ends With Us against Justin. By the time they premiered the movie, Ryan Reynolds had unfollowed him on Insta, so had Blake, so had the rest of the cast.
So how did Blake Lively go from adored actress to a pariah facing instant humiliation? Let's step behind the velvet curtains and examine the very real stories that started it all.
Baldoni purchased the rights to the book, It Ends With Us. He is the producer, director, and one of the lead actors in it.
It all began with the quiet murmurs on set. Crew members, who are often the unsung heroes of any production, started noticing a disturbing pattern. Blake was not the gracious, down-to-earth professional that the cameras captured.
She took over every single aspect of the movie. The movie was really aimed at, providing education and insight and relating to the stories of what women go through when they experience DV. She made it a lighthearted thing.
Instead, insiders say she behaved like a diva, entitled and dismissive. When the spotlight was off, she treated lower-level staff with outright disrespect, ignoring simple courtesies, and reducing hard-working professionals to background furniture.
So she filed a lawsuit before actually having clear evidence, And we're supposed to just continue to believe her.
Imagine walking onto a film set where no one greets you, where your contributions are ignored simply because you're not part of the in crowd.
Everyone's seeing through it. They're seeing through the BS. And, you know, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are seeking gag orders against Baldoni from releasing information, whereas his team is saying, nope, let's put out everything.
For many crew members, this wasn't an occasional slip. It was the norm. The whispered rumors soon turned into documented instances of manipulation, backstabbing, and calculated power plays.
That's exactly what happened. He didn't even get to see the final cut of the movie.
Get out of here.
Because Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds came in with their own team, their own editors. They completely hijacked this thing.
And if you think that's just Hollywood gossip, think again. This was a systematic display of arrogance designed to maintain control over every aspect of the production. But the story grows even darker when we look at how these behaviors manifested during one of her most iconic eras, Gossip Girl.
Blake Lively had alienated the entire cast against him. She had convinced everyone that he was this monster, this terrible person, so she could wield all creative control of the movie and end up getting her final cut of the movie, not Justin Baldoni.
While Gossip Girl catapulted Blake Lively to household fame, insiders from the set reveal that the show's glittering success was marred by a toxic dynamic. At the heart of the controversy were two of her co-stars, Penn Badgley and Leighton Meester.
For the screening, she made him and his whole family go down to the basement.
Go down to the basement during the premiere of his movie. He literally was not even allowed to be at the premiere of his own movie.
When Penn Badgley was cast as Dan Humphrey, it wasn't just the script that was under scrutiny. It was Blake's reaction to the casting decision.
She wanted to talk about, wear your florals, and she used it as an opportunity to promote her alcohol brand, which is insane because many people know that alcoholism really fuels DV as well. So it was completely tone deaf.
In a now infamous interview with Glamour, Blake admitted that she was furious about Penn's selection. Not only did she harbor resentment, but she went so far as to admit that she actively poisoned the cast against him.
Isn't a good person. And in response to this, what she did was she created a smear campaign against Baldoni, stating that actually he was making a smear campaign against her. And that's the reason why she had all of this negative backlash.
According to the interview, she convinced the entire Gossip Girl ensemble to dislike him before he even had a chance to prove his talent. Imagine the level of manipulation required to turn an entire team against a key actor and the consequences it might have on the set's atmosphere.
Such an important story. I know you don't give a shit about it, but this is such an important story because if they would have won against him, a guy whose dream was to be a Hollywood actor, producer, director, they could have crushed his career if they would have won.
But the drama didn't stop there. Blake's disdain wasn't reserved solely for Penn. Leighton Meester, who played the iconic Blair Waldorf, quickly became another target.
She compares herself to Khaleesi. I believe she has dragons. She's like, I have dragons just like Khaleesi. I have Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. They were doing everything they could to intimidate this guy, who is a much smaller actor than Blake Lively.
Unlike Blake, Meester had fought tooth and nail to forge her career without the luxury of Hollywood connections. This only intensified Blake's animosity.
By the way, he's finished. He's done. Like in Hollywood, nobody's gonna touch him. So that person that you're talking about, it's him.
Kevin
His
Spacey
dreams,
will.
everything that he's done. And then Amy, just really fast, can you go back to the editing process? There was text messages where the editor was like, to him.
Insiders claim that she spread damaging rumors about Meester, made subtle yet venomous comments about her appearance, and even refused to interact with her beyond the bare minimum on set.
Lively sued Baldoni in December of 2024, accusing him of sexual harassment on a set and launching a smear campaign against her.
One journalist recalled a chilling moment when Blake made a joking remark about Meester's troubled childhood, a comment that resonated as cruel rather than humorous.
Baldoni counter-sued Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, for defamation and extortion. On Wednesday, Lively filed an amend law complaint stating she was not alone in raising allegation of on-set misconduct.
These calculated moves weren't isolated incidents. Hollywood insiders note that if Blake didn't like someone, she would ensure that the entire crew shared her disdain.
As a response to this, she was getting a lot of hate. In fact, people were posting old interviews of her that weren't even really relevant at all to the movie, but they're just highlighting this is a mean girl. This isn't a good person.
Her behavior wasn't just about petty rivalry. It was about maintaining an image of superiority, a dominance that left lasting scars on everyone who crossed her path. At this point, you might be wondering if Blake could manipulate the dynamics on a hit show like Gossip Girl. How far would she go to protect her empire?
He loves women. He's a male feminist. He's loves
guilty.
women. He cares. He's doing all this.
The answer lies in a legal battle that would shake the very foundations of her career. Fast forward to 2025, a year that marked a turning point in Blake Lively's illustrious yet controversial career.
Legal teams attempt to subpoena his text messages.
Amid mounting whispers of on-set misconduct, Blake found herself embroiled in one of Hollywood's most explosive lawsuits. The target? Actor Justin Baldoni, whose name had become synonymous with a new wave of progressive filmmaking. Blake accused Baldoni of behavior that, according to her, crossed every professional and personal boundary.
Messaged him saying, hey, I'm breastfeeding right now, but come into my trailer. Let's go ahead and run some lines.
She claimed that he had invaded her privacy, humiliated her on set, and made her feel unsafe during intimate scenes. The media, always hungry for a scandal, quickly painted Baldoni as the villain, a predatory figure who had dared to challenge a powerful diva. In stark contrast, Blake positioned herself as the aggrieved victim of a toxic work environment, a woman fighting back against abuse of power in an industry known for its dark secrets.
She made a comment that Baldoni said she was too heavy for him to lift. That's not true. He simply said, I have a back injury. How much should I train to be able to lift you? Something along those lines. And she made it a complaint about weight, and then they actually put it in the Deadpool movie.
But just when it seemed like the narrative was set in stone, the unexpected happened. Leaked text messages began circulating, messages that would undermine every single one of Blake's claims. And what these messages revealed was nothing short of a bombshell.
One of the other conditions, she said, we need to have an intimacy coordinator on set because I'm not comfortable with being close with you because you're doing all these inappropriate things.
Imagine building an entire lawsuit on accusations of abuse and humiliation, only to have your own words turn against you. That's exactly what happened to Blake Lively. One of her most explosive allegations was that Justin Baldoni had walked in on her while she was breastfeeding on set. Headlines exploded with stories of her privacy being invaded, of a vulnerable moment turned into a public scandal. But the leaked texts told a different story entirely.
Provided a text message showing, hey, I have an intimacy coordinator. I'll get you on a call with her. No, I'm fine, thank you. I don't need to meet with the intimacy coordinator. So essentially, every single thing that she's claimed against him has been disproved.
In a text message from July 2023, Blake herself admitted to inviting Baldoni into her trailer while she was breastfeeding. The message was blunt and unapologetic. Hey, I'm breastfeeding right now, but come into my trailer. Let's run some lines. This single line shattered the carefully constructed narrative. Instead of depicting Baldoni as a predator, it painted him as a participant in a scenario that was entirely consensual, an actor following Blake's lead. The ripple effect was immediate. The media scrambled to reinterpret the story, and social media users were quick to point out the inconsistencies.
Like asking for my address or my phone number or my location share. Or I could just location share you and then we could
And if that wasn't enough to dismantle her case, there was more. Blake had also accused Baldoni of body shaming her by making disparaging comments about her weight. The allegation was meant to fuel outrage and position her as a victim of industry pressure. However, further leaked texts revealed that Baldoni had merely asked a simple professional question. I have a back injury. How much should I train to be able to lift you safely?
Justin then provided the full context of those exchanges And now she's trying to claim, oh, well, we need the receipts to verify this and prove that he's smearing. You need to prove he's smearing. I thought you already did.
No body shaming, no harassment, just an actor trying to ensure that both he and his co-star remain safe during physically demanding stunts. With each piece of evidence, Blake's credibility took another hit.
Poisoning the whole cast against co-star Penn Badgley.
Just when you think Blake's carefully constructed empire was about to collapse entirely, the final twist came. One that would seal her fate in the eyes of Hollywood insiders and fans alike. In an industry that increasingly values transparency and safety, the role of an intimacy coordinator has become standard practice.
And what I think she did with the cast of It Ends With Us, which was poison them against Justin, just like that Forbes thing proved, she lies to the director and then takes over. It looks like she also has a history of poisoning the cast to get her way. At first, I was so upset that they hired Penn for Gossip Girl, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him. Oh, how sweet of you.
Such professionals ensure that actors feel secure during scenes that involve physical closeness. Despite her numerous claims of discomfort, Blake flatly refused to work with an intimacy coordinator. This refusal was not just a minor detail, it was the final nail in the coffin. When Justin Baldoni offered to arrange a call with the coordinator to address her concerns, Blake's curt reply was a resounding, "No, I'm fine." And unlike her previous bold statements, this decision was supported by text receipts. It clearly demonstrated that her insistence on feeling victimized was less about her well-being and more about controlling the narrative at any cost.
Actually poisoned the whole cast against him. Oh, how sweet of you. How nice to hear.
In March 2025, the fallout was undeniable. Journalists who had once championed Blake's allegations began to backtrack. Hollywood insiders, many of whom had once shielded her, started to openly question her integrity. The industry that had long revered Blake for her talent and star power was now distancing itself from her, unwilling to be associated with a figure whose actions spoke louder than her carefully crafted image.
I panic before I have to wear a really skimpy outfit, but I don't have enough willpower. I had to do a scene in a bra and shorts for the first time in 2 years. On the day of the shoot, I ate a pork burrito, chips, and a Coke. Afterwards, I thought, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Blake Lively's downfall wasn't an overnight catastrophe. It was a gradual erosion of trust and respect. For years, she had skillfully manipulated the media and used her high-profile relationships to silence dissent. But every empire built on deceit is destined to crumble when the truth comes to light.
She's now refuting the reports of discord on set of Gossip Girl, which, yeah, right, give me a break. They clearly didn't like each other. There's so many rumors and things that have come out on the history of Gossip Girl.
The leaked texts, the contradictory evidence, and her blatant refusal to cooperate with industry standards all contributed to a public relations nightmare that even the most seasoned Hollywood PR teams couldn't salvage.
That includes her real-life leading man, Penn Badgley. Although she admits she was unhappy when he was cast in the series, "At first I was so upset that they hired him," she says. "I actually poisoned the whole cast against him, but then they noticed that he wasn't a jerk and was actually a really nice, charming person. Almost immediately I realized that too. But it took me about a week to admit it."
As the lawsuits raged on and more insiders stepped forward with their accounts of Blake's behavior, the narrative had unmistakably flipped. Blake was no longer seen as a victim of a ruthless industry. She was now being exposed as the very architect of her own undoing.
Penn is now friends with Justin Baldoni. They share a bromance. Well, why? Well, they're on the same board of a charity, and they're also part of the same faith, as you can see here.
In boardrooms and backstage meetings, whispers turned into open discussions about her future. The once glittering image of Hollywood's golden girl was rapidly being replaced by a cautionary tale, a tale of ambition, manipulation, and the inevitable retribution that follows. Some industry veterans even compared her downfall to the likes of other high-profile figures who had lost their luster under the relentless scrutiny of modern media.
She tends to have this history of being with the co-star to get the big part, and then, Ryan Reynolds sort of stopped that, I guess. But it could, if that's true and Ryan knows that, it could explain why he might have been a little bit jealous. Now I'm starting to see.
So, what does this mean for Blake Lively? Is this the end of her reign? Or could there be a twist yet to come? Let's explore what lies ahead in the final act of this dramatic saga. As the dust begins to settle on one of Hollywood's most sensational scandals, the question on everyone's mind is, what now for Blake Lively?
Really can turn that screw if she wants to. Calculating, manipulative, right? And mean. There's just a lot of it there, and it's all adding up. I end you with this TikTok. Kudos to this TikToker.
Once revered as the ultimate it girl, she now faces the daunting task of rebuilding her reputation in an industry that no longer turns a blind eye to toxic behavior. The legal battles, once seen as a strategic move to silence her detractors, have instead become a public spectacle.
Seeing the Me Too movement literally die. It's taking its last gasping breaths, but it is about to be dead.
With Justin Baldoni's countersuit and the flood of evidence dismantling her claims, the tables have turned dramatically. For many, it's a classic case of poetic justice, an icon of manipulation now grappling with the consequences of her own actions. Yet in Hollywood, nothing is ever truly over. Rumors swirl that behind closed doors, there may be attempts at a comeback. Could a carefully rebranded Blake Lively ever regain the trust of the industry?
I'm not one of those people, or am I? I don't know. You tell me. Is there a resemblance?
Oh, I think Blake has a type. I definitely think she has a type.
Or is this the final act in a long saga of deception, where the fall from grace is both spectacular and irreversible? Only time will tell, but one thing is clear. The narrative has shifted, and the public is no longer willing to accept the glamorous lies without demanding the truth.
Are you nuts? You made this a public battle, and now it is a public battle, and Justin has every right to fight this publicly to clear his name.
Blake Lively's drama serves as a stark reminder that behind every dazzling smile and flawless image lies a complex web of human frailties, pride, manipulation, and the desperate need to control one's narrative. Her transformation from Hollywood's golden girl to a figure of controversy and disgrace is a tale of high drama, emotional betrayal, and the ultimate downfall of an empire built on illusion.
It was a really strange position to be in because I felt like I don't want to just be an actor. Like I want to have more authorship.
So what do you think? Is this the end of Blake Lively's reign in Hollywood? Or will she manage to stage a comeback against all odds? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters, and we want to hear your take on this dramatic saga. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of Hollywood's most jaw-dropping scandals, be sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a like, and share it with your friends. Stay tuned for more exclusive dramas and behind-the-scenes revelations that you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, this is Sasha Spills signing off. Keep questioning, keep watching, and keep the conversation alive.